guy is not a Las Vegas guy, but I was for 2 days and had a really great experience. Hung out with my brand owner. I always love hanging out with Nick. He's a good guy, a great leader. I always learned something from him, and I learned something from the experience of going to that conference too. I'm trying to get my CFE wrapped up. I'm doing it, I'm getting it. It's just, I'd like to get that done before, within the next 2 or 3 months, probably there. CFE is Certified Franchise Executive. It's a accreditation. It's sort of like a franchise version of an MBA or not PhD, but we'd like to think so. What we do is takes effort, takes knowledge, takes experience, but showing up is most of the battle. But I think showing up's most of the battle anyway for most things in life. And so I was there, CFE, going to see brands, going to see people that know me, people I know, friends in the industry that I only see at events like this. And I got to do that. We got a few selfies, didn't go crazy, but just really had probably one of the best experiences I've had in this industry, event-wise. And it all happened last minute. We've put ourselves in a place where we can grow. A couple of things in life, I find I'm a runner. I run long distance, but I've been trying to run a little bit less than that. I'm getting a little bit older, and as I get older, I love to maintain the ability to run. And so I have tapered off a little bit on the mileage. I listen to my body a lot more, and I find myself running races that I want to run, not running races that, I don't know. No one ever really made me run, but still, I run because I love it. I do, and it's always been there. I started running when I was in high school, junior high, 8th, 9th grade, something like that. And I started running. My dad was a runner, is a runner, still is a runner. My dad's in better shape than I am. And he laced up his shoes. I think my first running shoes were a pair of his old running shoes. And it was very special. I'm having a moment. I'm thinking back on just how magical that childhood, that moment in life. I remember going out to the track. We'd go out to this track where the college was. That's where my dad worked, and we had access to all the facilities there. But it really wasn't a track. It was more of a loop around the college campus, and I think it was like a mile, 1.2 miles or something like that around the campus. And my dad and I would run, and my brother was on his bike, and my mom would walk and hang out with him. And sometimes I was on my bike too, but this day I was on in my dad's old running shoes. We happened to be about the same size foot, and we ran, and I just had the best time. I'm having a great time remembering, looking back on that time. My dad was a teacher, a college professor. My mom was a teacher, elementary school, taught me, believe it or not, in 3rd grade. I'm still recovering. There's got to be a Facebook recovery group somewhere in there for children whose parents taught them school. But anyway, so that's sort of where the origin of my running came from, the passion. Started out a little bit like nostalgia and has evolved into what it is today. But a lot of great things have come to me from running the New York Marathon, the LA Marathon, relay marathons, Myrtle Beach Marathon. It's where I live, and so I'll keep on running. But the flip side of that is too, I've learned to nourish myself a little bit better, a little bit different. The only reason I say different is because I take more supplements today than I ever have. They're all natural supplements. B, D, omegas. I mentioned that earlier to sort of combat some of the cholesterol side thing of it. But just keep learning about how to do this thing a little bit better, and I'll keep coming back, as they say. Got some really good tidbits back to the franchise thing. Got some really good tidbits around being authentic and being yourself and coming from the place of one's own sense of self and being. And that was something that, I knew and I know and I practice, but it just sort of galvanized everything, gave it a little bit of a hook. The other thing that I went to for the first time was the Women in Franchising event. It's a leadership development course, leadership development, I think, or it's a development piece. Obviously the title didn't stick, but everything else did in between. Round table, we sat at a table. Some of my friends were there, made the experience that so much better. And we kind of put our knowledge, or at least our perspective, out on the table and tried to solve a problem, or at least theoretically see how a problem was solved with the brand. And it was so much fun. It was just, getting out of our little box. And, I'll take you around my office at some point, one of these days, but you've got a place that we operate from, and I've got, 3 screens here you don't see, and that this piece of equipment that I'm shooting this through, and this is our space. And so when we go outside of our space, what does that look like? So you got to get out there and you see everyone in their own, in their element, and kind of see everyone navigating around. Anyway, while all of this was really good, it was a little bit overwhelming too. So a lot of resources, a lot of people there, a lot of resources. I'll just say that. And whether they're marketing something, or they've got a piece of software or equipment or lead management system or something along those lines, and some of them are people that we know, and so we just kind of nod and say hi and do what we got to do. But like I said, this trip was a little bit different for me. I was intentional. I went there to be authentic, and I was reinforced by all the events and the things that were going on, especially the Women in Franchise thing. I'll talk a little bit more about that at a different time too, but let's wrap this up today. I wanted to give you a 6-7 minute piece to put it in the books. Here we go.